Good afternoon, Tallahassee. Welcome to your Wednesday edition of FSU Weather. I am student meteorologist Josh Green. Here's a nice look at Doak Campbell Stadium right now. We've had a pretty partly cloudy day. Luckily, we've been avoiding the rain the past 3 to 4 days, but it has been pretty steamy out there. It's currently 85 here in Tallahassee, partly skies with a wind coming out of the northeast at 6 miles an hour. Right now in the viewing area, we're seeing about mid to low 80s here in Tallahassee. It is 84. Down to our south in Apalachicola, they're already at 80, so those temperatures are only going to decrease as we go into the evening hours. There's no rain in our radar right now, and we expect this trend to continue for the next 2 days. For tonight, we've got cooler weather coming ahead next week, winter storms impacting the high plains, and flash flood warnings in Texas and Oklahoma. All this and more on FSU Weather.
Hello and welcome to FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Chandler Pruitt. It's been quite a warm one today with pretty sunny skies like Josh was mentioning, with a few partly cloudy skies as well throughout the day. So it's been quite enjoyable, I would say. I've been walking to class the last few hours and it's been definitely more enjoyable. However, it is October, so it doesn't remind me of that exact fall weather. But speaking of fall weather, that is our big headline for this evening. We're talking about a nice cool down coming up next week. Like Josh was mentioning, the next 2 days will be sunny and about the repeat of what we've seen for the last couple of days. But come that weekend, we'll see, come this weekend, we'll see this cold front coming through that will provide a little bit of those cooler temperatures. Will drop about 10 degrees. We'll start seeing temperatures in the 50s. I know that those here that are Florida natives, maybe even South Florida natives, look at that and say, it's time to bring out the parka. But at least for most of us that are a little more on the sane side, we will enjoy these temperatures a little more because after all, it is fall. So definitely breaking in the fall weather and a nice little cool down as we approach the Halloween season here in a couple of weeks. But overall, quite enjoyable forecast ahead of us. But also we'll be talking about some other weather storylines going around in the nation, especially over in the high plains where we've seen a lot of snow being dumped. They skipped fall and they went straight to winter. At least we'll see here a bit of that transition season. And then we're also going to talk about some flash flooding potential in Texas and Oklahoma. Man, they've been getting whammed with tornadoes and now potentially flash flooding. But now we'll toss it over to the desk to first take a look at the local weather with Caleb.
Thank you so much, Chandler. Good evening, everybody. My name is student meteorologist Caleb Hobson Garcia. I'll be giving you a look at our local weather. As we look over at Doak right now, gorgeous skies behind me, few clouds here and there, nothing too bad. We're currently at 85 degrees with a nice breeze going by from the northeast at 6 miles per hour. Our radar, it is gorgeous, clear, no rain is expected. That's definitely something you would have seen walking around campus. We had a very bright day. Now today we had a high of 86 with a low of 64. That's not too far from our average high or low. Thankfully, we're not reaching this record of 90 degrees today. Our current temperatures, we have 80s throughout the area, 84 degrees in Tallahassee. It's a nice 80 down on the coast of Apalachicola, though it's still warmer further inland at Sumatra, for instance. Our current dew points, 64 in Tallahassee, 70 down in Apalachicola, despite that cooler temperature that we just saw before. Future radars, we're expecting some clouds, not much rain happening at all. So no need to bring a raincoat, umbrella, anything like that throughout tonight. Tonight's forecast is 67 degrees in Tallahassee, and it's going to be in the 70s down on the coast, 71 in Apalachicola, 71 at St. Mark's as well. For tomorrow, it's going to be 80s throughout the area, high 80s. However, some relief down at the coast, such as Caravelle and Apalachicola, will be at a pretty balmy 88 in Tallahassee. For tonight, we're going to be expecting 66 degrees in Tallahassee, partly cloudy, nice breeze coming through. So head out tonight, maybe go to a restaurant, catch up with some friends outside, enjoy the cool weather. And for tomorrow, it is going to be a hot one. 88 degrees in Tallahassee once again. Now the week ahead, the weather's going to stay much the same as before. It's going to be in the high 80s going into the weekend, though we're going to get some relief Sunday night as we drop down to 54 degrees. That cool weather is going to stay through for much of the evenings going into next week. Now I'll pass it over to Allie-Ann to tell you a bit more about the state of Florida.
Thank you for that, Caleb. Yes, I am enjoying the local weather we are experiencing here in Tallahassee right now. Looking at the Panhandle, we have not much going on here at all. Just, you see a little bit of pocket showers, but nothing that we are really, not much rain really at all for our area. Nothing going on in Tallahassee or to Pensacola and west of Florida. Very clear I-10 right now for the Panhandle. Currently right now in Panama City, it is a nice 85 degrees. It says mostly sunny, but it is kind of partially cloudy and overcast in in the Panama City area. Looking at Apalachicola radar, there's, again, nothing much going on in the Panhandle. No really showers going on. Mostly everything we are seeing in Florida with some action is mostly down south right now. So moving over to our North Florida radar, we have some showers on the east coast of Florida moving more west towards Jacksonville, Daytona Beach area, and then some small showers going on around Gainesville and Ocala. Looking at our Gainesville overview, it is 85 degrees right now in Gainesville and partially cloudy skies. Really pretty sky right now, I'm being honest, but great conditions right now in Gainesville. And then looking over at our South Florida radar, we have a lot of scattered thunderstorms throughout the entire south, or the peninsula. A lot of them affecting the Everglades area and Miami and up towards Naples more. Here's a look at our Miami sky cam. Partially cloudy skies also in Miami and a nice 83 degrees. Winds are kind of strong right now in Miami, probably mostly due to all those thunderstorms that are just sprouting out all across the south of Florida. But here's a look at our current temperatures in Florida. 90, staggering 90 in Tampa right now, and then 80s across the board, except Jacksonville's sitting pretty with a nice 77 degrees. Looking at the current dew points for Florida, Tallahassee is just beautiful right now with 64, so we're not going to see as many, we're going to be a little drier compared to the rest of Florida. Tonight in Florida, it is in the 60s here in Tallahassee, 71 in Pensacola, and then in the 70s down the rest of the South Florida. Gainesville is looking nice with its nice 64 also like us in Tallahassee. Tomorrow in Florida, 90s down south, 80s in, near West Palm and Miami, but just high temperatures across the board for Florida. Now I'm going to pass things off to Josh to give us a look at our national weather.
Thank you, Allie-Ann. So yes, it's been pretty quiet here in Florida, especially in the Panhandle, but around the country we can't say the same, especially up here in the northern Great Plains regions, but we'll get into that in a little while. For our current temperatures around the nation right now, down in Miami, 83, making our way a bit north in Atlanta, they're sitting at 80 right now. Over in the northeast, Boston is at a pretty moderate 72 degrees. A bit to the west in Kansas City, they're sitting at 72. Down here in South Texas, San Antonio, 84. Pretty similar to our weather conditions here in Tallahassee. Up in the northern Great Plains right now, where all that weather's been occurring, 47 here in Bismarck, and over on the west coast in San Fran's 59, and down in LA right now, it is 68. For our dew points, a majority of the eastern seaboard is definitely more muggy. 64 here in Washington, D.C., a little bit uncomfortable, but that should change as we go back into the next few days or so. 72 down here in Miami. Now, if you make your way a bit more west, you can see this stark contrast in the dew points. This is actually a major cold front that's moving through right now, which is eventually going to push its way into our area, bringing us those cooler temperatures that we mentioned in the overview. So right now, the dew point in Kansas City is 72. It's definitely raining there right now, but right as you go to the west of that, look at this here in Denver. It drops all the way down 50 degrees to 23 as a dew point. So very dry over on the west coast right now. LA is sitting at 42. Here's that cold front that I was talking about right now. It's making its way through the Great Plains, stretching all the way up from about the Dakotas region all the way down into mid-Texas. Here's that low pressure system associated with all this rain that's going to be pushing through the Midwest and eventually over towards our area into the East Coast come Saturday. It's going to bring a lot of rain, but it's also going to bring those cooler temperatures, which will be very nice. The upper level water vapor satellite kind of gives us a nice view of where all that moisture is. Here's the front line, so all the moisture is going to be in front of it, and behind it, this color right here is all that dry air that we'll be expecting to have once that passes through our area. Right now in the northwest, the Seattle region is of course seeing rain, especially the rest of Washington. Down into the Portland region is also going to see some showers throughout the evening. Right now in the northern plain region, right here you can see that huge weather-making system. We've got a lot of snow, possibly some blizzard warnings that we may see over here in Rapid City right now. So that's going to be a big troublemaker for them that should be moving through their area through the overnight hours. Here's the top part of that cold front that we were talking about. You can see all that rain that's just pushing its way through into the Chicago area, up into the Great Lakes as well. Down here in the southeast, of course, Tallahassee, we haven't seen much rain, especially up in northern Florida as well. For the rest of South Florida and Central Florida, they've seen a lot of pop-up showers throughout the day, just making their way because it looks like we've got a bit of an easterly wind moving from the Atlantic across into Tampa. So those showers should make their way through the afternoon, evening hours. Right now in North Texas, this is the southern part of that cool front. Lots of strong thunderstorms right now. Look at that, this purple area right here that we're tracking. That could definitely bring some tornadic activity. We'll have to watch that, and some very strong showers, even some lightning. So something to keep an eye on if you're in the North Texas region. Some watches and warnings right now. All that rain is causing some flash flood warnings right here in the red, and a lot of watches, especially to the west of the Houston area. We've also got some here in Oklahoma and Arkansas. A bit to the north, we've got a winter weather advisory up here in the Dakotas and into Montana because of their weather system that they've been seeing. For our storm outlook for today, all this green and light green is because of that cold front. So this entire line, you can see it tracks just very similar to the cold front. So Dallas, Houston area, they've got a bit of a marginal risk, and we've going to see a lot of thunderstorms as we make our way into the Midwest. And that's going to move into the eastern part of the U.S. As we get into tomorrow and the weekend. For tonight, we're going to have pretty moderate temperatures on the East Coast, 62 in Atlanta. A bit to the west, Denver is going to get down to 30 degrees. They're going to be seeing some snow. Salt Lake City could be seeing some sleet at around 35, 58 down in LA. And as for tomorrow, especially in the southeast, it's going to be really hot. Those summer temperatures are still here. New Orleans, 86, Tallahassee, 88. Seems like we have the high temperature of the country just besides southern Texas and San Antonio. They're going to be at 88 as well. Bit to the west, it's going to be much cooler because of that dry air. 50 in Denver, 45 in Salt Lake City for their high. So I mentioned a bit about that blizzard that we've been seeing up in the northern plains. So Allie-Ann and Chandler are going to give us a better look at what that means.
Thank you for that, Josh. Yes, exactly. We have seen a blizzard warning issued today, which is quite interesting for October.
Yes, so there was a blizzard warning over in the South Dakota region, but the blizzard warning has now gone down to where it's not a blizzard anymore, but it's still a winter storm warning throughout that region.
That's right, and so we'll get into about what is a blizzard. First criteria is, of course, it needs to have blowing snow with winds at least 35 miles per hour. So that's pretty windy, and whenever you factor in the fact that it's really cold, that can be quite chilly conditions.
Yes, that will increase the wind chill significantly. Another factor of a blizzard is visibility is reduced to 1/4 of a mile or less. So when you're driving, it's very dangerous in blizzards because you can't see very far in front of you at all, and the roads are icy. So that's a major criteria of the dangers of blizzards.
That's right, and of course, we also see that winds can loft snow and cause snow to fall without snow actually falling, and that's just because of the blowing snow that's already on the ground. But if we can take a look at the current radar, Josh, we would appreciate that. We'll take a look at the South Dakota region, really seeing that system, and specifically looking at that South Dakota region, you really see that that was where we saw our snow today.
Yes, so that's a cyclone wave over the South Dakota region. It's a low pressure system, and it's blowing in a bunch of cold air over the top into the more south into South Dakota.
Exactly. So it's a pretty large system overall. It's a part of that larger cold front. But if we zoom into the Black Hills of South Dakota, you can see where that elevation change really increases that snowfall rate and changes from rainfall to snowfall just with a bit of elevation.
Yes, the elevation definitely changes that just due to the change in temperature from the atmosphere as it gets colder going up.
And that's right. And we can really see with the larger picture here that we have some warnings, some winter weather warnings for parts of South Dakota and Montana, Wyoming, and North Dakota, and then winter weather advisories stretching up towards Canada. But overall, a pretty big system.
Yes, and then you can see as the snowfall continues throughout this area or throughout the region for the next day, it is going to dissipate, but there is advisory still in effect for these areas. So snowfall is going to occur into the next 24 hours.
That's right. And so now taking a closer look at a city that's being impacted by that, let's go to the wall with Caleb.
Thanks so much, y'all. So right now, we're looking at South Dakota. We have 32 in Mystic, cool 29 up in Lead, and that is exactly where we will be focusing in on. But for now, the dew points, we're at 30 in Sturgis, 27 in Newcastle, but it's lower at Custer at 23. The satellite and radar is showing quite a bit of snow. I mean, just this whole line of snow moving over, starting to replace this rain that we see over here. As we get a better look at the whole area, we see that there is a lot of red up here by the Canadian border and passing across from it. For the 2-day snowfall forecast, there is not too much snowfall to worry about currently, only an inch happening. However, what's really exciting is the snow depth forecast. We have 6 inches in some places throughout the Dakotas. Over here, there was a small sneak of 12 inches. For future radars, it's starting to clear up more as that cold front passes through. Tonight in Lead, it's 28 degrees, something that us Floridians, I'm personally not used to. 80% chance of snow, so everyone's going to be bundling up in Lead. Their 3-day forecast is high of 39, low of 29 for today. Tomorrow it's going to be in the 40s at least, warming up a bit. I'm sure they're going to appreciate that after so many days of snow. And it'll be in the 30s at night as well. So now I'll be passing it off to Josh, and we're going to take a look at our local forecast once more.
Thanks, Caleb. Yeah, getting a little more towards Tallahassee right now. You can see those clouds are actually starting to clear out a bit. Look a bit more closer to the camera than Doak Campbell Stadium back here with all those clouds in the background. So maybe we should have a nice night if you want to get out and possibly see some stars or something like that. It'll definitely start to cool off from the steamy day that it's been so far. But right now, we are currently still at 85 degrees. We can see those partly cloudy skies right behind us right now. And we've got a nice wind coming out of the northeast at 6 miles per hour. Some of the record temperatures that we've seen, we almost were there. We're about midway in between average and the record, but not quite there, and especially not quite at this 38 degrees. There must have been a really major cold front that moved through in 1988 today. But our high today has been 86 with a low of 64, and our average is about in the low 80s to low 60s. So our lows are getting there. The highs still need to go down. We are still pretty steamy for this time of year. Hour by hour for tomorrow, 66 around 6, 7 a.m. As we make our way into the afternoon, it's definitely going to start to heat up. We get into the low 70s, eventually into the upper 70s as we get around into noontime. And noon to 5 p.m., we're going to get into the mid to lower 80s. So it's still t-shirt weather, even though that we're into mid to late October. Tallahassee Radar has been quiet today in the past few couple days. We've got a lot of dry air sitting above us right now. That's going to keep that rain out of our area just for the meantime, though, because eventually that cold front that we saw on the national map will come through our area, bring some rain, but also is going to help cool us down. For the rest of the southeast, it's also pretty quiet, especially in southern Alabama and Georgia, in our area, through North Florida as well. As we get a little more south in Florida, Central and South Florida have been seeing a lot of pop-up showers rolling across the Atlantic Ocean because of that easterly wind. Just going to be bringing them some pop-up showers throughout the rest of the afternoon into the evening, but those will clear out as we get into the morning hours. For the next 24 hours, we're going to see a lot of cloud cover come through, but other than that, we're not going to see much rain. Could see a couple pop-ups down near Apalachicola, but Tallahassee should be in the clear. Currently, right now in Tallahassee, we're sitting at 81 degrees. A bit to our north in Thomasville, they're at 76, and a bit to our south in Apalachicola, they're at 79. As for tonight, we are going to cool down significantly. Tallahassee is going to get to 67, which is much better than those mid to upper 80s that we were seeing today. Quincy's going to be sitting at 65. Over in Perry, they'll be at 70. Tonight, we're going to get down to about 66 degrees. These partly cloudy conditions will continue with a nice wind of about 3 miles per hour coming out of the northeast. As for tomorrow, we're going to heat right back up. Look at that, Tallahassee, 88 degrees, probably the hottest temperature that we're going to see in the country, maybe except for southern Texas. And for our dog walking forecast, we're going to have mid-70s to upper mid-80s as we get into the afternoon. And taking a look at our 7-day, we're going to have very hot temperatures, but we're going to cool down this weekend. As for now, Chandler's going to give us a better look at the southeast.
That's right. Thank you, Josh. And the bigger picture is pretty similar. In fact, taking a look at our neighbors here in Gainesville, Florida, they have quite similar conditions with partly cloudy skies. Of course, we won't acknowledge them for terribly long. Taking a closer look at Bowling Green, Kentucky, though, those guys are also sitting at some comfortable temperatures, 81 degrees with partly cloudy skies. A little bit more cloudy than maybe we are here in Tallahassee. Atlanta, Georgia, of course, dealing with some of the similar conditions. In fact, really the only outlier is Blacksburg, Virginia, where they're at 71 degrees thanks to that altitude being in the mountains of the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia. And taking a look at those current temperatures, we can really see that there's a stark contrast between the coastline and other inland cities. We can see Charleston, South Carolina is at 76, but take a look at Shreveport, Louisiana, 89 degrees. So quite warm and quite a contrast across most of the southeast. But for the most part, we're dealing with those upper to mid 80s. And those dew points, whoa, that's pretty close to summertime dew points right there. We have 70s in Florida. That's pretty typical for what you would expect in Florida. But we still have those those high dew points surging into the western southeast with 60s and 70 even in New Orleans. And a closer look at the southeast radar, we can see some of those drizzles and showers up towards Oklahoma. That's really training over Oklahoma. That will provide a potential flash flooding event later on tonight. But really the only story here in the southeast is the small little lines of showers that are making their way from the Atlantic Ocean. Taking a closer look at that, we can see some of these showers that are trying to make their way across Florida, and they're popping up because of that difference in heating between the water and the air. But for the most part, these are small and very brief and won't interrupt your daily activities. Rainfall forecast, we can see that there's an accumulation between about ½ an inch to 1.5 inches, but nothing too terribly concerning and won't disrupt your activities. For the weekend, we can expect that huge shift come close to Friday and Saturday, and really see this cold front really making its way through the region, really cooling down temperatures. By Sunday, we can expect to be close to 73 degrees. That's quite cool, and that's about where we want to be for this time of year. So again, that's really awesome for our picture for this weekend. For tonight's lows, well, we can see basically staying in the low 70s to upper 60s for the most part across the region. So quite warm and muggy because of those clouds trapping in that moisture. But for tomorrow, we'll also see basically the rinse and repeat of what we've been experiencing the last few days with highs in the upper to mid 80s.
Thank you for that beautiful southeast forecast, Chandler. So here's your lifestyle of Tallahassee. Here's a nice view of what's going on in our area, Panama City. Here's a nice look at the sportsplex right now. Great skies, great time to go play some IMs. I've actually played last night. Here's a view of the weather stem here in Tallahassee. Look at that beautiful sunset over Doak Campbell Stadium right now. Just great conditions. Airport delays in Tallahassee. Yes, we have a high pressure system over us currently in over the southeast, so not a lot going on rain-wise, so delays are very unexpected for Tallahassee. Here's a look at what's going on. Yes, delays more expected near Dallas, but nothing is slowing down due to the rain that's occurring. For our dog walk forecast this week, tomorrow morning, great 76 degrees. So if you're up and out in the morning, go ahead and take your dog out. Partially cloudy skies occurring more later into the evening around 9 and 11, but still great temperatures during these times to go out. Stargazing forecast for tonight, great. Visibility is amazing right now. There's not many clouds in our skies, so nothing really blocking or obstructing your view. Might want to get out of Tallahassee to where you can't see, so you can actually see the stars, where there's not as much fake light, but great time to go out and stargaze. Florida State's got one of their first baseball games of the season this weekend. It's going to be a nice 87 degrees on Saturday with with partially cloudy skies to block a lot of that sun. So we'll have cloud cover looking out for us. So go out and watch the Knowles play on Saturday at 2. Our school week planner ahead. We have a great week. Our highs are consistent at 88 for the next 4 days. Partially cloudy skies on Saturday and Sunday, but that's nothing that's really affecting what's going on for our area. So if you can get out today and tomorrow, or tomorrow and Friday, go ahead, because it's a great conditions going on. Our lows are in the 60s, and that's something we're really happy to see right now. Hopefully they'll get lower next week with the front coming through, but it's nothing we haven't experienced, and it's just this typical weather we expect this time of the year in Florida. I'm going to go ahead and pass things over to the desk with Josh to close out our show.
Thanks, Alianne. So yeah, it's pretty quiet here in the Tallahassee region weather-wise, but it's been pretty nice actually the past week, especially since Sunday. We've seen very drier conditions than what we saw last week. It was pretty much raining every single day of the week, but the difference is this week it's hot out. It's like summer again, but hopefully those conditions should change soon because we do have a cold front on the way that's been wreaking havoc in most of the central plains. It's moved its way from the west coast all the way through the northern plains. It's going into the central plain region right now, then eventually into the Midwest, and then into our area coming this weekend. So we should be seeing some possible showers on Saturday, but our temperatures are going to clear way down into the mid to lower 50s, which is going to be a really nice change for us in the Tallahassee area. It's going to start to actually feel like fall and even into winter if you're not used to those very cool temperatures. We also talked today on the show about blizzards because we've seen a big storm maker up in the northern plain regions associated with that low pressure front that's going to be moving into our area. But far away from us, it's bringing a lot of rain into their regions. So they're going to have to keep an eye on that because blizzards can be very dangerous. We don't really know much about them down here in Florida, but the rest of the country does need to keep their eye out for that, especially as you head into the winter months. For now, you can give us a follow on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather. Also throw us a like on Facebook. We're pretty up to date there at FSU Weather as well. Every weekday from Monday to Friday, we are live on YouTube at 6 p.m. at FSU Weather. And also follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather as well. You know, we just started that campaign that you can send a picture of your dog, even your cat, for the dog walk forecast. And we'll try to throw it up on there any day of the week, and we can try to feature your pooch as we give you guys the weather rundown for Tallahassee. So pretty quiet here, but around the nation, a lot going on. Right now, we are going to have Caleb give us more of a look at what we're going to be seeing the next 7 days here in Tallahassee.
Thanks so much, Josh. I'm just going to give everyone one last look at the week before we finish the show. So tomorrow is going to be much like today. We were at 89 degrees for tomorrow. Saturday, watch out for some rain. We have 30% chance. Hopefully that'll dissipate and you can enjoy your weekend. You know, personally, I'm going to be going outside, going on some hikes. Sunday night, we have 54 degrees coming through, and that nice cool temperature is going to stay around until Tuesday morning. And that's your 7-week day forecast.